Hey, what's up guys? The Gangster Driller here. So today we are going to be working on let me zoom this in a little bit here. We're going to be working on a clasp. There we go. We're going to be working on a clasp that spring has went to crap. And the rest of the clasp looks fairly intact, so we'll see if we got a spring. If not, we will make one, which you guys have seen in previous videos that we do. And if you haven't seen that, need to go watch it. But quick tutorial. All you need is need to get the third guitar string from the bottom. So I think that's the G string, and you can make springs for your lobster claw clasp. And it's fairly simple to do once you do a couple of them. When you first do it, you're gonna be like, this ain't working out. But once you do a couple of them, it's not even a thing, man. But what we're gonna do is go ahead and we're gonna take a pick or something to push down to open the clasp up so that we can get that center part out. Just get you something small enough that you can open that up and get that out of there. But you can see the spring is definitely done. As a matter of fact, the top half is gone out of there. It is gone. So let's go ahead and pull that out of there. There we go. Got our spring out of there. Now I've made a couple springs that were the wrong size. I'm going to see if I've already got one made up, possibly. I don't know that I do, but hopefully we do. Then we might not have to make a spring, but if we have to, we have to. Alright. Let's take a look at what we got here. Let's set that up there because I don't want to lose that. This is where a lot of my scrap clasps go to die. This is the clasp graveyard here. Might have one, I might not. I might not have one, guys. Thought I did. Like I said, I've made a couple of them that didn't work out too well. That's an old spring there. Alright guys, well, looks like we're going to be making one. Okay. So let's go ahead and get our guitar string here. And like I said, you're going to use the guitar string that's the third from the bottom, so it's going to be the G string. And then you're going to need, kind of like when you're sizing rings, you're going to need one of these. It's got the where you can crimp and round, and you want to start with a little bit of excess off the back end, because if you've seen a lobster claw spring, you know there's a little ledge on the bottom side, and then you have a long ledge on the other side. So that's what we're going to try to do first here. And just grab it, once you get it bent, just kind of twist it a little bit to get it started. Now the other thing is you need to make sure that you have the back part that goes on the bottom on the right side of the glass, because if you have it coming on the front side instead of the back side, it's not going to sit in the glass right. So that's just something to keep in mind. And this saves a bunch of money, y'all, because with the price of gold right now, a electrical class that size, that's about a $200 class right there. They ain't cheap. Gold is not cheap right now. Shoot, gold ain't been cheap for a while, but it really ain't cheap right now. So that's just something. So by doing this, we're saving the store and the customer a shit ton of money. A shit ton. Don't be a douchebag and change the spring and charge them for a new class. I've seen that I don't know how many times before. I've seen it too often. But that shit will come back to bite you if you try to do that, I'm telling you. So don't do it. Alright, see, we got our ring. If I can get this back in focus here. See, I got our ring on the back, coming through on the back side. This is the part that's going to come up. Yeah, see, so that's going to be the part that goes into the bottom part. Then we're going to okay. So here's what we're going to do. Let me get a pair of pliers. Squeeze that close together if we can. Okay, now what we're going to do is grab our cutters, and we're going to go ahead and cut hold on now, I gotta zoom you in a little bit. Maybe that'll make things a little better. There we go. So you see we got the pieces coming around the back side there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to cut a little, we're going to leave this a little long when we cut it. And we can adjust it from there. If you cut it too short, then you're going to have to start over. We're going to set that in the drawer temporarily. Okay. Now let's take a look at our thing here. So now what we got to do is we got to put this in. That ring might be too big, y'all. Might have made that ring a little too big. We'll see here in a second. But you got to get the bottom in first. Got to get that bottom in to catch. Then once you've done that, then pull this sucker around if you can. It's going to be tough. We might have to use pliers for that, y'all. Let's see. Might have to use pliers for that one. But first we gotta get the bottom back in there again. Alright, let me grab some pliers here. Come on. Alright, hold on. We need to bend this around just a tad bit more here. So we're having to push that way too far. There we go, that might be better. Let's give that a shot. So we're going to stick the bottom in first, like so. And we're going to see if we can't get this bent around. There we go. Got it. Whoop, almost dropped it. So that's the thing, you got to get it, so you got to get that bottom part right there in, then you got to pull this around to get it to where you need it. Now this is probably going to be a little bit too long, so we need to go ahead and cut just a hair off of there. Then what we need to do is you need to take this part and bend it back a little bit. If you don't bend this back, then because this rests on the back of the clasp, you're gonna have too much room, and then you're gonna have too much wiggle room. It's not gonna snap back like it should. So you want to take your pair of pliers and pull that back a bit like that. There you go. Alright guys, and hopefully we got it short enough. This could be still too long. We may have to cut some more off of it. I don't know just yet. Not 100% sure just yet. Hold on, we gotta open this clasp up just a hair bit more. Open that up. Okay, hold on. I need to pull that back out real quick. I need to get that back out of there real fast. And we need to pull this over a little bit. There we go. Now let's try that. See how that's going to work. And by doing this, you save a shit ton of money. Let me see if I can find my other orange pick here. Not really sure where it ran off to. Well, gotta be in here somewhere. Where'd you go, man? There you are. Found you. Alright. But now what we need to try to do is try to get this pushed up to the top if we can. Where's our pliers again here? I gotta try to find them. I didn't move them around. Maybe that's them? That's them. Alright, we still gotta get this pushed up. Now there is like a little slot that it sits in, and you got to get it in that slot. If you don't, then it just ain't gonna work. So you got to get it in that slot if you can. Oh, hold on guys, I gotta adjust you a little bit here. And you know, we might still have that a little bit too long. We very well might just have that a little bit too long, guys. Still, we'll have to pull that back out. Still just a clip too long. Cut a little piece off of there. Let's see how that does. Well, if I can get it to go in straight, that would be nice. Alright, we gotta do some adjusting here. Try to pull her up and then inward. She's still not sitting right. Alright, yeah, she's gonna have to come back out for a second here. Oh no, she's come out of the spring holder there. See if we can't get her back in there. Have to use our pliers again probably. Oh no, now the bottom part popped out. Okay. I see how it's gonna be. Ow. I just stabbed myself, guys, with this, with the, stabbed myself with the guitar string. I did. So you gotta be careful of that. I'm trying to keep you guys in focus, man. I need to look close, and it's kind of hard with the camera and this, but we're trying. Alright, I got that back in there. Now, I need to try to bend that back again. Like that. Alright, take 3, take 4. You're going to have to do a little bit of wiggling and finagling. It's just part of it. Okay, now let's see if we can't get this pushed up again. Hold on, guys, I gotta adjust you again. Alright, we need to push that back out. This sucker is not cooperating with us today. get her back out of there. Oh no, our spring just went bye-bye. Oh, that sucks. Alright. Yep, our spring just went flying somewhere. Sorry guys, the video stopped for a second for some reason. Alright, we're gonna have to make a new spring, y'all. We need to make it a little smaller too. I tried to make that one work and then it went flying, so such is life. Let's make us another one here. Let's try to see if we can't do it with a little more. A little more extra at the bottom. Hopefully a little bit smaller ring would be nice. And we're essentially just using the same exact steps we were using on the last one here to make it. That one ain't going so well. Yeah, that one sucks. Let's cut that off. That one did not even start out good, y'all. There we go, that might work out a lot better. Yeah, that looks better already. Heck yeah. Yeah, that one looks a lot better. Got them nice and closer together too. Alright, let's go ahead and cut our piece off there. We don't need it super long. There we go. I think that's a better. I think that'll work a lot better too. All right. Get that bottom in first. Piece of paper towel there. Get that bottom in first. Then try to get this top in. And we got a lot more meat on the bottom there now too. So it should hold a lot better. Oh, come on. Now, it says killer on your fingers, man. I'm not gonna lie. But it'll save your store or your customer a shit ton of money. Now, like I've said in other videos, there's going to be instances where the electrical is just broke in a bad spot beyond repair. And there's nothing you can do about that, you know. So you help them where you can, but sometimes you'll have pieces missing, like the latch missing or something to that effect. Oh, come on, dude. We gotta bend this forward a little bit more. We gotta get this wrapped around just a hair bit more. Come on. There you go, let's try that. Let me zoom you guys back out here. Let's give that a shot. Let's get the bottom in first. Bottom in first. Then we'll get the top in, hopefully. No, almost did. And it's going to be stiff for a little while, but as they use it and it moves back and forth, it'll loosen up. Alright, let's try with the pliers again. Hold on. Ah, almost stabbed myself again. Trust me, it looks easier than it is. It's your first couple ones are going to be difficult if you haven't done it before. But the more you do them, the better you'll get at it. But even after I've done plenty of these, they still give you a hard time occasionally. That don't sound good. That sounds like an airliner flying low. There we go. We got it in there. Okay. Alright. Now that we got it in there, we need to bend this part back. Oh no, it popped out. Bitch. Get back in there. Come on, get back in there. There we go. Now let's try to bend this part back. Oh my gosh, why do you keep popping out? Oh, gotta stretch my back, guys. I'm having to bend over to keep the camera in focus. Alright, let's see. She popped out again. I'm not gonna lie, this one's being stubborn, you know. Alright, let's take a break for a second. My fingers are like going numb from holding this thing and pulling on it. Alright, let's try this again. Oh, come on, dude. There we go. Oh my gosh. Okay. We got it locked in there. I'm trying to get this part to bend back because it's too far forward right now. But when I do that, it keeps wanting to pop out. There it goes again, man. What the frig? Here, let's go ahead and bend that sucker back now. Let's get it out of there. Let's go ahead and bend, see if we can't bend that back. Here, let's do it with this. If we can even do it with that. Yeah, we need it to go this way. And bend backwards. Oh shit, that might be too far. Okay. Might be bent back a little bit too far. Let's see. Let's just see. Come on. You can do it. Boy, this one's been one of the more stubborn ones I've done in a while. I'm not gonna lie. Alright guys, I gotta let my fingers rest for a second, y'all. My hands are actually starting to cramp up trying to hold on to that thing. I stabbed myself again, y'all. Dang it. Alright, now it's war with this thing. It stabbed me twice already. Alright. We got it in there. We got that back part bent. Now let's see if we can't get this to sit in there correctly. Let's hope and pray, y'all. Hope and pray. No, that's going in crooked. That's going in crooked. Still going in crooked. And still going in crooked. Jeez. This thing is not wanting to cooperate with us, y'all. No, that ain't gonna work. Come on, cooperate with me here. That ain't gonna work either. Let's push that back out. Alright, get that back out of there. Alright guys, we're gonna get it eventually here. This thing's just being real stubborn. One of the stubborner ones I've done. If stubborner is even a word. Oh my gosh, no. I gotta get that spring right up under there. Get that spring up under there. And try to push her up. And in. Huh. Why is that? That don't make much sense. Alright, let me push this back out real quick. Let me open this back up a little bit here. And open this front right there a little bit. Nope, going in the wrong way, dude. Now this is tedious, so don't be in a hurry because it's going to take you some time to get this the way you want it, you know. Okay. Alright, I think what we need to do, let me get this out of here. Oh, I have to keep stretching my back. My back's killing me from having to arch over with the stupid camera. That's okay. Do what we gotta do for you guys, man. At least I'm trying to. Spin that forward a little bit. Ah, she popped out. Okay. Ah, flipped over on me. Okay, let's try this again, y'all. Try this again. Alright. Don't quite understand why it doesn't want to. Doesn't really want to lock in where it's supposed to. I have to try to bend that straighter, I guess. It's probably gonna make it pop back out again, but I mean, ain't nothing I can do about that. Alright, let's try this again here, guys. This is a very stubborn clasp. I will say that much. Being hella stubborn. Oh, maybe. It'd be fucking nice if you did, if you cooperated. Maybe. Well, let's try to close this just a hair. Oh my gosh, maybe? Alright, let's see. No, it still ain't quite hanging out far enough. There. Let's just see. I don't think that's going to be it though. The clasp ain't sticking out far enough out the back. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Let me try to push down on this real quick. This thing is weird. It ain't got much of a latch on the back there, if at all. Alright, let's get this thing out of here. We gotta get it out. Yeah, we gotta get that out of there, 'cause that's not gonna work. Fortunately, that just is not gonna work. Boy, it's gotta go in like just right, man. There ain't no wiggle room in this thing. This is, like I said, this is definitely one of the more difficult springs I've had to change in a while. For sure. Definitely one of the harder ones. You gotta get it to lay in just right or it ain't gonna work. No, that ain't gonna work. Gotta push that back out. Come on, get out of there. Come on, get out of there. There we go. Stubborn, stubborn. Now that's... There is not much of a latch there to begin with. That's crazy. I did not realize the latch was that wore down. That latch is just toast, y'all. I didn't realize the latch was that wore down. I think that's what the problem is. There ain't much of a latch there to grab to begin with. For one. That latch is wore down, y'all. It is wore slap the frig down. Well, that's not cool. Snaps right back. But that latch is just freaking wore down, y'all. I don't know, I might need to change that inside out because there's not much of a latch to grab onto on the backside. That's part of the problem. It's locked in place, however, there's just nothing to grab onto. But you would have never known that the latch, the back part of the latch was wore down because the spring was broke, so it was hanging out the back. But now that it's together, the back is where you can see it don't have, if I can focus this thing in. Hold on. Let's try that. See, that thing has got no back to it whatsoever. I mean, I can catch it with my thumb, but that's it. That thing is all messed up. Yeah, that back is wore slap the frig out. Oh, that sucks. Alright, let me, that's why I was having so much trouble. Because I was trying to get the back to come out, but the back's too wore down to come out the back. So we're going to do something a little different here, guys. We're going to have to do something a little different here. Because that back of that clasp is toast. But see, the spring was busted in it, so you would have never guessed until you got an actual spring in there. That's alright, not a big deal. Not a big deal, y'all. What we're going to do is, I think I got the inners of some other lobster claw clasp here. We're going to swap it out because you can't do anything if you ain't got a latch you can grab onto, you know. I mean, you can grab onto it, but it's hard to grab onto it. Yeah, I mean, there's just nothing there to grab onto. Alright, plan B. Plan B. I really hate having to use this lobster claw clasp, but it also has a spring in it already. So here's what we're going to have to do. See, this is what the latch should look like. See, it should be sticking way out. Look at that. You ain't got nothing to grab on. So, but here again, the spring was broke, so you wouldn't have known that until you got a spring in there. I was wondering, I'm like, why am I having such a hard time? Because I was trying to get that back part to come out further, you know. But, just wasn't doing it. Just was not going to do it. So what we're going to do, use this 10 carat. So we're going to swap 10 carat for 10 carat. Insides anyways, not the clasp. Just the insides. get that thing out of there. I'll try to get this out of there first. Come on, get out of there. Come on, get out of there. Let me zoom you guys back out here. Yeah, that was the problem I was having, is trying to get that latch to come out the back. But I didn't realize it was that wore down. I was like, dang man, I ain't never had this much trouble with one. I've had troubles, but not quite like that. But here's what we're going to do. And we're still going to save them a shit ton of money. We're going to trade inside. I'm going to hang on to that spring because I can use it later. And I'm going to take the inside and the spring out of this one and see if we can't make that work better. Because if you ain't got a latch to grab onto, and see, that's what I'm talking about. See, you see that latch? If I didn't have another one here that I could maybe try to swap out, you'd have to replace that clasp, or possibly try to build that end piece up. I've done that before. You could do that. But before we go building and soldering, we may have one here we can just swap right on out. Possibly. I don't know for sure yet. But possibly. Come on, get out of there. There we go. Alright, let's see. Let's just see if... And see, that one's got the spring already in it, and it's in pretty good shape. This might be too big for this, maybe. I don't know for sure just yet, but it might be. We're gonna try it. If not, we're gonna have to go to plan C. Alright, we gotta lift this up a little bit here. Lift that up a little. And let's just see if that will clamp where it needs to clamp. Oh yeah, that looks like 1,000 times better. Look at that. Got something you can actually hook onto. Oh yeah. Man, we should have just done that to begin with. See? Look at that. All that trouble for nothing. Alright. Well, the thing is that the spring was broke, so the back end was flopped out, so you couldn't tell that the back was wore down until you actually got a spring in there. So we just went ahead and took the inners from one of my other lobster classes, just put in there. They're both 10 karat, so same ordeal. Save them a shit ton of money. It's better than buying a new class, that's for sure. Heck yeah. Dang, this wound up being more work than it needed to be. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get the back end to come out. I'm like, why is the back end not coming out? Now I know why. It was wore down. Alright guys. We now have a new clasp. Now what we need to do is smooth out all of our scratches and stuff here. Alright guys, we now have us a new class with a latch that we can actually hook onto. So we got that taken care of. Got it all straight. Alright, I'm going to go polish this up, and then we'll come back and look at the finished product, guys. I'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back with that necklace. As you can see, we got it nice, clean, and polished. Let me zoom you guys in here a little bit. Got it nice, clean, polished. Got some hair on it. What we did is we just went ahead, I had another 10 karat lobster class. We just took the inners out of it. Had a spring that was good in it. Just put it in here, swap them out. Gonna be the same charge. Still saves them a shit ton of money instead of spending $200 for a new class. And yeah, the back part, we could have built the back part up on that other one, but I had another one here that would work in there, so we just use that. If we had to, plan C would have been to build the latch back up so that there'd be a latch there. But that's what was taking me so long trying to get it in there, is I couldn't figure out why the latch wasn't coming out the back, and it's because it was wore down. Took me a little while to figure that out, but I appreciate you guys watching. This is the Gangster Jeweler. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be fantastic. If you'd like to leave a tip or donation, the link for that will be down in the description, although it's not required. Just helps the channel grow and show some love. If you would like for me to do your repairs, you can visit my Etsy shop. I'll have the link for that down in the description. And then also, if you're a business in the Jacksonville, Florida area or Orange Park and would like for me to start doing your repairs, you can email me. I'll have the link for that down in the description. And also, if you'd like to check out my Kick reaction and gaming channel, you can check that out. I'll have the link for that down there. And also my TikTok reaction and gaming channel down there as well. If you're looking to buy jewelry in the Jacksonville area, highly recommend Money Miser on Blanding Boulevard. And if you're not in the Jacksonville area and you're looking to buy jewelry online, I highly recommend Stellar Jewelry, which I'll have the link for that down in the description. But this is the Gangster Jeweler, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. Shout out to all my subscribers, man. You guys have been loyal and hanging in there with me, man. And hopefully we can grow this thing together. But I appreciate you guys watching. And I will see you guys on the next one. Take care, y'all.